Hello everybody, this is Shane. Um, I want to deal with the types of sacrifices that were done in the Old Testament. Now, mainly it was animal sacrifices, um, like for instance, the Red Heifer in Numbers 19:2. This is the ordinance of the law which the Lord has commanded, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring you a red heifer without spot, wherein is no blemish, and upon which never came yoke. And ye shall give her unto Eleazar the priest, that he may bring her forth without the camp, and one shall slay her before his face. And Eleazar the priest shall take of her blood with his fingers, and sprinkle of her blood directly before the tabernacle of the congregation 7 times. And one shall burn the heifer in his sight, her skin and her flesh, and her blood with her dung shall he burn. And the people shall, and the priests, shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet, and cast it into the midst of the burning of the heifer. Then the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in water, and afterwards he shall come into the camp, and the priest shall be unclean until the evening. And he that burneth her shall wash his clothes in water, and bathe his flesh in water, and shall be unclean until the evening. And the man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer, and lay them up without the camp, in a clean place. And it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for a water of separation. It is a purification for sin. And he that gathereth the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the evening. And it shall be unto the children of Israel, and unto the strangers that sojourn among them, for a statute forever. He that toucheth the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days. He shall purify himself with it on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day he shall be clean. But if he purify not himself the 3rd day, then the 7th day he shall not be clean. Whosoever toucheth the dead body of a man that is dead, and purifieth not himself, defileth the tabernacle of the Lord. And the soul shall be cut off from Israel, because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him. He shall be unclean, his uncleanness is yet upon him. This is the law. When a man dieth in a tent, all that come into the tent, and all that is in the tent, shall be unclean 7 days. And every open vessel which has no covering bound upon it is unclean. And whosoever touches one that is slain with the sword in the open field, or a dead body, or a bone or of a man, or a grave, shall be unclean 7 days. And for an unclean person they shall take of the ashes of the burnt offering of purification for sin, and running water shall be put thereto in a vessel. And a clean person shall take hyssop, and dip it in the water, and sprinkle it upon the tent, and upon all the vessels, and upon the person that were there, and upon him that touched a bone, or one slain, or one dead, or a grave. And the unclean person shall sprinkle upon the and a clean person shall first sprinkle upon the unclean on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day, and on the 7th day he shall purify and wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and shall be clean at evening. But the man that shall be unclean, and shall not purify himself, that soul shall be cut off from among the congregation, because he has defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water of separation has not been sprinkled upon him. He is unclean. And it shall be a perpetual statute unto them that he sprinkles the water of separation. He that sprinkleth the water of separation shall wash his clothes, and he that touches the water of separation shall be unclean until evening. And whatsoever the unclean person touches shall be unclean, and the soul that toucheth it shall be unclean until evening. Now, in the Old Testament they have purification rites, and this is one of the purification rites. And what it would do is it would be how you would be allowed back into the tabernacle, or the temple, even. Now, when David was anointed king, Samuel was told to take a heifer and sacrifice it before him. And this was to draw suspicion away from David for King Saul. 1 Samuel chapter 16, David is chosen to be king. And the Lord said unto Samuel, How long will you mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill your horn with oil, and go. I will send you to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. And Samuel said, How can I go? If Saul hear it, he will kill me. And the Lord said, Take an heifer with thee, and say, I am come to sacrifice to the Lord. And call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show thee what you shall do, and you shall anoint unto me him whom I name unto thee. Now this is where David was anointed king. And it's important because the Lord had him to use a heifer here as well. And the heifer is also mentioned in the book of Hebrews. Chapter 9, verse 13. For if the blood of bulls and of goats and the ashes of an heifer, the unclean sanctified to the purifying of the flesh, how much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to God, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living God. Now, the point is, Jesus died for our sins to help with the sacrificial system, so that's what you need to understand.